Good morning, Santa Clarita. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. We are also here on Facebook Live, so if you're at home and you've got your computer or your phone handy, go ahead and jump on Facebook and search KHTS Radio, and you can pull up our live feed, and you can watch the show with us this morning. I am Matt Watson, your host. This is Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. While our campuses are closed and students are at home, KHTS, in collaboration with SCVi and iLEAD Schools, brings you this special edition. We're calling it Homeschooling Answers. We're here to support the work that you're doing with your kids, to be there for you as you work and maintain the growing and learning right there with your family at home. We're also here to help you take care of you. So very important that you're putting your mask on first. Otherwise, you can't help take care of anybody else, right? We are here live every day at 9 a.m., providing support and updates on this new distance learning journey. And we're also continually curating and adding new resources for you on our website. Go to homeschoolingAnswers.com and play around a little bit. We're adding resources every day, so take a look and see if you can find something that'll help you and your kids during this time. And if you're not finding what you need, would you email us at homeschoolinganswers@ileadschools.org, homeschoolinganswers@ileadschools.org, or that website again, homeschoolingAnswers.com. We've got every grade level, every subject area for you, and everything to help keep your kids learning and growing during this time, to support everything that your school and school district are doing for you. We're hitting our stride together now. We're in week 4, and we've got this, right? And what's more is we're not only going to get through it, but as we talked about yesterday, we're going to use this opportunity that fate has given us to come out stronger on the other side, having made the world, our little corner of it, and the global education community much better for the experience. If this crisis reminds us of anything, it's that people are remarkably resilient, creative, caring, and generous. So let's do this. We've got another busy show today. We've got Superintendent Jeff Pelzel from the Newhall School District, who will be joining us in just a moment to share how his district is handling distance learning and how things are going with his families and students. We'll also be checking in with our show's 2 regular guests, Mayor Cameron Smythe, as well as licensed marriage and family therapist Christina Debray, to help talk us through keeping ourselves healthy as we continue on in our safer at home posture. We'll also make sure that we get back to our study of Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. We'll get to habit 5 today, I promise, and we've got all kinds of resources for you as we talk. In fact, today I've got a special invitation for all of you that you won't want to miss. So hang with us. We've got a lot for you today. My first guest, Jeff Pelzel, was born and raised in Central Washington. He stayed close to home to study, receiving his bachelor's degree in mathematics from Central Washington University and his master's degree in educational leadership from Heritage University. He began his career as a math and psychology teacher in Cella before moving to Moses School District as an assistant principal, and later the Kent School District as principal, all of them in Washington. But SoCal does beckon, doesn't it? And Mr. Pelzel and his family found themselves here in Santa Clarita in 2014, where he accepted the position of Assistant Superintendent of Instruction of the Newhall School District, where he quickly demonstrated his spectacular instructional expertise as well as his leadership. Then, in July of 2018, he was appointed as superintendent of the district, known for its award-winning schools and outstanding music and arts programs. Mr. Pelzel, good morning.
Good morning, Matt. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you. I want to thank you for joining us. We appreciate it.
Not a problem.
First of all,
glad to be here.
And foremost, how are you and your family doing? You guys doing okay physically and emotionally?
Everything is good. Staying healthy, staying safe, all of those kind of things. Doing the hand washing, staying on top of things. Taking care of self. That's the most important thing right now over everything.
Absolutely. You're very right. So first I want to ask you, I mentioned in the introduction that you're from Central Washington, a beautiful area of our country. What attracted you to our treasured little hamlet of Santa Clarita? How did you find us?
You know, it's very interesting. I had been, I grew up in Eastern Washington and Seattle, Washington, and actually spent my whole entire educational career there, went to college, came back, and actually taught at the high school where I graduated from.
Oh, cool.
And ended up moving over to the Seattle area towards the latter part of my time in Washington State. And then decided to make the move and start looking for other opportunities. And I did a little bit of job searching. I had people that I worked with in Kent School District that were from Southern California, and I literally saw this job in the Newhall School District, and I said, what can you tell me about Newhall? And they said, well, we don't know a lot about it, but it's very, very high performing, and the community is very special. So I'm like, well, I'm going to put my name in the hat. My first round of an interview was a Skype interview with a couple of people, and instantly there, I knew this was the place for me, and I began the journey.
Oh, wow, that's wonderful, and what a great description. If you had to use kind of two monikers to describe your school district, you're absolutely right. Extremely high performing, and our community is amazing. Now, with the closure of our school sites and the shift to distance learning for our schools, that came rather quickly and suddenly in our state. I was really pleased to see how well our state and communities reacted to the current health crisis. So what's the current state of things in your district? Where's everybody at? I believe they're on spring break right now, correct?
Yeah, we actually started spring break last Thursday, so we had Thursday, Friday, and this week we are off. So we had spent about the week and a half prior to this doing a lot of training for our classroom teachers as we officially decided to launch into true distance learning programming when we returned from spring break. So we did a lot of training with our instructional coaches, with our teachers on the Google Classroom platform, and teachers were trained on how to set that up for, especially primary teachers really hadn't had a lot of exposure to Google. It was more something that was used in upper grades, so we needed to train all of our teachers, and we wanted to take the time and provide them the training so that they could be set up for success as they go to launch this program, because it is a shift in how we do and how we approach teaching and learning.
Absolutely. We've talked about that a lot on the air, that yeah, this is a brand new paradigm for kids and families, but it's something that's brand new for a lot of our educators as well, and so there's a learning curve there. We appreciate the intentionality with which you and some of the other school districts have approached this, and you're right, this is not the way maybe a kindergarten, first grade teacher would be used to teaching. It's not the way those students are used to learning. So how's everyone adjusting to the new model? What have you heard from your teaching staff, your students, your families?
So I would say from our teaching staff, we had one instructional coach, Becky Calling, who has a lot of experience in the Google Classroom, and she was the one who actually led all of the trainings with our teachers. And the feedback from the teachers on the training, she did 3 different modules that we asked our teachers to engage in prior to going and launching and building the classroom. And the feedback from, I mean, every single teacher was absolutely unbelievable. She just has a knack for breaking things down. She's put together a bunch of videos that teachers can access and watch on their own, so they can go back and review it and those kind of things. And so my sense is there's a little anxiety, of course, because you're launching into something new, but I think they feel prepared for this launch come April 13th. And so, from a parent's perspective, I think it's new for them unless they have they have an upper grade student who may be a 6th grade teacher who was already using the platform prior to this. So I think it's a little early for us to know yet what the feedback is from the parents. But I honestly am very excited about this opportunity because it provides us a new framework for ways that we could provide additional support to kids even at home that we weren't currently doing in our primary grade.
Well, that's terrific. Yeah, we mentioned in the beginning of the show how we've got the opportunity to shift how we do things, not just temporarily, but to make a move. This provides us that opportunity. So it is exciting. So you guys haven't actually gone live yet. You go live on April 13th after the spring break.
We officially go live on April 13th. We have some teachers who have been doing some things with Zoom meeting and other, kind of meeting platforms and those kind of things, but that was kind of on their own initiative. District-wide, we officially launch on April 13th. We could have launched right before spring break, but it didn't really make much sense for us to get 3 days in and then go to break.
Sure.
So we decided to hold off and launch right after we get back from spring break.
Good call. Good call. So I mentioned earlier as well your district's dedication to the arts. You've had a phenomenal music program for quite some time now. Are there plans for for those wonderful programs to shift to the new online platform as well? How is that going to work with art and music? Do you know yet?
Yep, we do, actually. So in terms of our music programs, when we think about our general music teachers, which service kids in kindergarten through third grade, those teachers are creating lessons and those kind of things that teachers can load in their classroom or kids and families can access as well, where they're singing songs, learning, about musical kind of things, the basics that they usually do in the primary years. And then in our upper grades where we actually have our instrumental music and those kind of things, those teachers are building lessons for kids to be able to watch. They're actually playing the instrument and showing them and those kind of things, modeling what it looks like. And then they'll be able to do some small group instruction where kids could join together in a small classroom live setting to actually continue that instruction. So it's actually a really exciting opportunity too when you think about that as well, because now we could in the future use these lessons and roll them out to families as an additional resource for support at home.
Absolutely. What a great idea and a great opportunity again for those teachers and your district to be looking at how we can continue to use these platforms when things do return to normal and we continue to move forward. Now, last week,
if I can interject too, I forgot to mention too, our art teachers, John Fossa and Kim Ferguson, are putting together art lessons and resources for our classroom teachers to be able to use and push out to families as well. So it's like we don't miss a beat. I mean, it's such a core of who we are, our art and music instruction, that it was too great of a priority for all of those teachers and our general education teachers to want to have these resources in place for our families.
You're absolutely right. And just like all subjects, it's taught better when it is integrated with those other subjects. So that's fantastic. That is great to hear. So following the suggestion by Governor Newsom, the state superintendent of instruction, the LA County Office of Education superintendent last week, your district did announce the closure of school sites through the end of the school year. Now, as we project beyond that, and I know you certainly are no soothsayer or have any real control under how the health crisis goes, but as we look forward, do you feel confident that your district's going to be able to open at the beginning of next semester in the fall?
I mean, that is definitely our intention as of now. It's hard to see how this is all going to play out. The numbers continue to escalate and those kind of things, thankfully not to the level of what you're seeing in New York and New Jersey and those kind of things. I'm hopeful as the temperatures rise and those kind of things that also helps diminish the transfer and all of those kind of things over time. But that is definitely our hope. And we certainly are hoping that there's been some projections and forecasting around things coming back, in October, November when it gets cold again. But we're hoping that nothing like that triggers again. We miss our kids. We miss our teachers. We miss our families. That's what I hear over and over from our teachers. It's, when you're in education, you like to socialize, and I think about myself as a superintendent. I am out in schools all the time. And so now I'm looking at my life as a superintendent now, and being in classrooms looks very different virtually than it does being able to be in classrooms and seeing what kids are doing and all the amazing things that our gifted teachers are doing with our kids.
You're absolutely right. That heart of an educator is really coming through now more than ever. We've seen so many different posts on social media and things like that. It's certainly different. And you're right. I think all of us are just excited and anxious to get back on campus. I remember growing up as a kid, thinking, oh, why don't we have snow days here in Southern California? And I can't wait until school's out. And now we're here even seeing with our students that they can't wait until school's back in, which, again, is just a testament of the quality of schools and relationships that our educators develop with our kids. Now, lastly, we focused a lot, especially toward the beginning of this crisis here in California, on making sure that those very basic needs of our neighbors have been met. And I know that your school district has been a huge part of that effort, along with others in our city, making sure that all of the kids who depend on school for 1 or 2 meals each day receive those meals. Can you update us a little bit on the status of that valuable service? Have there been any changes since school campuses first closed? What schools are delivering those meals right now?
Yeah, so Initially, we launched with just providing lunch each day, and the 4 schools that we're providing service from are at McGrath Elementary, Newhall Elementary, Peachland Elementary, and Wiley Canyon. But as we launched into this, the second week of providing meals, kids when they get their, and families when they get their lunch, they're also getting a breakfast for the next morning. So they get a lunch and a breakfast every day, and our numbers are growing and growing every day. There are some campuses that are serving over, close to 400 to 500 meals a day, and others, let's say 175 to 200. So we are, on a regular basis, we're probably serving between the 4 sites, we're serving close to 1,200 to 1,500 meals or students a day, and it's just been a tremendous resource. I've been able to be out there when they're handing it out, and the families are so appreciative of this support. And I just can't thank the Santa Clarita Valley Food Service Association for us. We partner with them. And they have been, Dr. Lewis and his staff have been so tremendously supportive of it, and our campus is just stepping up to help out, and teachers wanting to volunteer. And you got to limit the number of people, but it just gives people an opportunity to give back and support families in this trying time.
So that uptick in families that you're serving with these meals does tell a sad story of the increase of the need, but so beautiful how our schools and other sectors in our community have stepped up to meet that need during this difficult time. So we want to thank you for that as well. Mr. Pelzel, I want to thank you for your time and your unwavering service to the kids of our city. We really appreciate you coming in today. We do have to take a short commercial break, but I want our listeners to stay tuned. When we come back, we'll be checking in with our mayor, Cameron Smythe. For more information on how COVID-19 is affecting our valley, please go to hometownstation.com and click on the red banner. There you'll find tips on the community health updates, social business, special business hours, and much, much more. That's hometownstation.com and click on the red banner. You're listening to SCVi Charter School's Eye on the Valley Homeschooling Answers. I'm your host, Matt Watson, on your hometown station, KHTS.
No contract pest control. Did you hear that? Yes, Unipest has no contract, low impact, affordable, and environmentally and family-friendly pest control options with orange oil or other family-friendly products. Whether it's ants, spiders, gophers, termites, or bed bugs, Unipest Termite and Pest Control has an effective, eco-friendly option for you. Call Unipest today for a free orange oil inspection at 661-BUG-7575 or visit unipest.com.
Great healthcare just got easier and more convenient in Canyon Country. Facey Canyon Country is now open directly off the Soledad Canyon exit off the 14 freeway. The 37,000 square foot clinic houses Facey Medical Group primary care physicians, pediatricians, and specialists. Facey has easy 24/7 online appointment scheduling for PCPs and PEDS. For more information or to make an appointment, visit facey.com. That's FACEY.com.
You might not know the difference between a fade, a pompadour, a cropped fringe, or faux mohawk, but the Sport Clips Guys Smart Stylists sure do. We know you don't think about haircuts 24/7. That's Sport Clips' job. That's why Sport Clips specializes in haircuts for men and boys. Sport Clips has turned something you have to do into something you want to do. You don't ever need an appointment at Sport Clips, and you'll walk out feeling like an MVP. Guaranteed. Sport Clips at the Santa Clarita location nearest you.
Dutton Plumbing, it's Eric.
Son, it's Mother. I was thinking, son. Wait a minute. Cut, son. I'm coming into your sound booth.
Mom, what are you doing?
I don't think we need a commercial. I want to let everyone know that we're open for all the usual services, but that we also care about what's going on.
You know, you're right. There's doctors and nurses out there I want to thank, along with the police and the firemen.
And as a mother, I want to remind parents to teach their kids to wash their hands more often and use plenty of soap.
Even our plumbers are using extra safety devices like gloves, booties, and use disinfectant on all the surfaces they touch. And you know, that's a good idea for anyone interacting with the public right now.
I just want us all to stay safe and healthy. And that they can call us for anything they need right now.
That's why I love you, Mom. You think about our customers first. Give me a hug.
Son, social distancing.
DuttonPlumbing.com. This Saturday at 8 p.m., join us as we pray for our valley and first responders. KHTS has teamed up with a number of local churches who'll be offering a half hour of music and prayer. Brought to you by our friends at Burger King, Total Financial Solutions, and American Family Funding. We invite you to sit in your cars, 8 p.m. this Saturday. Tune in to 98.1 FM, AM 1220, or download our free KHTS radio app. Or log on to hometownstation.com and click the Listen Live button.
Your hometown station.
KHTS is the only station I listen to.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 on the FM dial and 1220 AM. If you've got your laptop computer or your phone nearby and you want to join us via Facebook, we're on Facebook Live. Just search KHTS Radio and you'll see the live video feed. So good morning. I'm Matt Watson. This is SCVi Charter School's Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. Joining us now is our Honorable Mayor, Cameron Smythe, standout athlete and student at Hart High School, graduate from UC Davis with a degree in rhetoric and communication, Santa Clarita political royalty, city councilman, state assemblyman, multiple-term mayor, vice president of state affairs with Molina Healthcare, exemplary son, husband, and father of 3. Mayor Smythe, thank you again for joining us today.
You know, the best part of coming on is seeing how you're going to introduce me each week. I'm just going to keep, even when this is over, I'm just going to keep calling in. Just to,
there's a little bit of a rain cloud on my introduction today. You know, in our previous 2 conversations, I neglected to recognize your notable basketball career, and I'm really taking it on the chops in social media. So let's start there. You mentioned last week that you averaged about 10 minutes per game. No doubt load management and preparation for that deep run into the CIF playoffs. What position did you play in basketball?
So let's keep in mind that was 10 minutes a game on the freshman team.
Right.
So yes, let's clarify where that is.
Again, you don't want to fire all your guns in the regular season.
Correct.
So,
I was just an all-around athlete, and so I just played wherever the ball was. I just followed the ball.
Right.
That's what I did.
So very similar to the Pee Wee leagues, right? You have the tip off, and everybody just swarms on the ball. That was your game, huh?
So I always said, when I was in 5th grade, I went. My dad was teaching at BYU, where he got his PhD, and so we went out, and I went to the BYU basketball camp. And I made the all-star team.
Nice.
And you fast forward, 16 years later, 10, 12 years later, I'm watching BYU basketball, and there's one of the guys that was on my all-star team was now playing D1 basketball for BYU. So clearly it was just a choice.
Sure.
For me. I could have certainly continued on.
Well, you've only got so much space on that Letterman's jacket, right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Now, shock you as it might, I'm a history major, so I can do my research. I was looking around last night, and I was unable to locate any of your other stats online. Do you have any of those handy? Do you know points per game, rebounds, block shots per game?
I can tell you this. What I can say is I can give you my, I've got videos that I make my kids watch.
Oh, sure.
For their punishment. They have to watch their old man's videos, but, glory days, with Bruce Springsteen playing in the background.
Absolutely. We'll see if we can get Shane with that track just playing in the background as we go.
Exactly.
And we could go on about your athletic career for the entire show, but we've got to get to some things that are a little bit more pressing. First of all, since we talked last Tuesday, there's been some very sad news out of our city's bus system. Can you update us on the status of our bus services? Are the buses still running? Are they safe?
Sure. So, yes, last week, we became aware that 3 of the for the bus drivers, had contracted the virus, one of which passed away last week. We don't have any much more information than that. The city contracts with Affirm MV Transportation to do our bus services. So, because of privacy and respect for the families, the employers haven't shared much more with us. But that being said, our buses had already gone through cleaning protocols. We've upped that. We continually review our bus route services because obviously there's not always the need. So ridership is obviously significantly down. So I ask anybody that is using the bus, using the resources, to just check to make sure your routes are running on time, to make sure that everything is on schedule before you maybe make a trip or plan on that, because we are constantly changing it. Our bus drivers do have PPE that at their disposal for use. We also are encouraging residents to board the bus from the middle or the rear entrance. We have seats that are marked off, so to maintain that social distancing, and just by having people board from the back, it helps protect the drivers a little bit more, who throughout their route, having people constantly walking by. This way, it helps protect them a little bit more, along with the additional PPE.
Yeah, definitely. And just taking those, it seems like minor precautions. I do notice a lot more folks wearing masks out as they're moving around, even jogging, walking on the trails. People wearing gloves as they're at the grocery stores. I know that the data always, it's tough when the statistics kind of lag a bit behind, as the incubation period on this virus is can be long. But it does seem to be working. It seems that we're able to take the edge off with these minor restrictions that we've put in place. So something that our listeners are always interested in. Are there any other updates on or changes on what's open, what's not, what's changed?
No, I think obviously we still want to keep our parks are closed at the moment, but that is weather driven. Okay. Obviously from yesterday and the rains. So before anybody wants to head out and check out our parks or use the trail system, double check on the city's website or social media to confirm that they're open. Again, if they are not open, it is simply weather driven at this point, and as we able to let the fields dry out and the trails dry up, then we expect to have them open. But right now, fields and parks are closed, but that is just because of the rain yesterday and the anticipated rain later today.
Okay, but so everything else is still open. We can look forward to farmers markets this weekend and all the other the trails and things like that. Like you said, as soon as they dry out, everything else is
again as of today. Right, no changes. Anything that would change would be again driven by the weather. I think the other exciting news is that the LA County Department of Public Health has designated Santa Clarita for a mobile testing site. We don't have the location. We just have notice that they are going to move or put in place a testing location here in the city later at some point this week. So as soon as we have the details, we'll be able to put that out and kind of the guidelines about whether you need an appointment or how you are able to utilize the testing. But we are going to have a testing site in Santa Clarita this week.
That is terrific news. We're here with Mayor Cameron Smythe getting updates on the status of our city as we continue to monitor the COVID-19 virus. It's been a week since we spoke here on the air with Marley Lawfer at Henry Mayo Hospital. Have you, within the last week or so, spoken with officials from our local hospital? Are things still in good shape? We heard some great news from Marley last Monday, but have you spoken with them recently?
So I personally haven't, but I know that our city manager and the CEO have been in contact. Our staff have been in contact, and from all indicators are the staff there still feels they've got the space, that they have the resources they need to continue to treat. Obviously we look every day for the numbers, but so far I think the feeling is I think there's today, as of yesterday, I think there were maybe 14 hospitalizations in total, with some of them have already been discharged. So that is good news, and there are still plenty of beds. We're not feeling that pinch that some other communities are. And when you look at the modeling, it seems the efforts in California really are paying off, and hopefully that will continue. And Henry Mayo in particular, won't face those bed pressures that some other states are facing. As long as we stay diligent with following the guidelines, I think we'll be okay.
Absolutely. So very exciting in this time that some of the news can be so depressing as we watch nationwide some of the other situations that are going on. But to hear from the hospital and from you that we really did seem to be prepared. Again, our state and our community acted so quickly as this came to our shores. We moved to kind of flatten things out. Obviously, we're seeing and hearing every day. We're not immune to this difficulty, but we do seem prepared, and things continue to go well. So are there any other updates, changes, things that we should be monitoring, things that we should be aware of in and around our city?
The only other thing I would say, again, is on the positive side, that I was at the grocery store on Friday, and as you mentioned, a lot of us with gloves and with masks, people taking it seriously. The staff has put down tape to wait in line to maintain the social distancing, and there were pretty much everything you needed at the store was there. Didn't seem to be any issues of hoarding that we had seen initially, and so I think that is some good news of people are kind of getting into the routine. They're just going back to buying what they need, and that was very encouraging to see. And we hope that will continue at least through the end of the month until hopefully we get some of these orders relaxed a little bit. And but stay aggressive in following them, and the more we do, the sooner we will get out from under them.
Yeah, fantastic. I think early on, this is such a new thing for us. Our country has never really gone through anything quite like this. I think people were scared at first and kind of went worst case scenario, but now we're starting to realize that, hey, as long as we follow the guidelines and continue to support each other by staying away from each other, then we'll get through this. Everything will be okay. Folks are starting to settle down a little bit, and we're starting to hit our stride, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, and I think it kind of it comes and goes. I know that obviously with Sunday being Easter, that hits some people, the inability to congregate at church and to worship together, and so having to be creative in delivering that that same inspiring message of Easter, and so that's something that obviously impacts people. And I would just always make sure that we continue to check in on our families, our seniors, because it does. We're still several weeks before any potential lessening of regulation, so we still have we still got a long way to go, and I know that can be tough on everybody.
Yeah, definitely. I know my family's had to make alternative plans for Easter, and folks are certainly adjusting their Passover plans as well. But, you mentioned the key word, creativity. It's, we can all learn and grow a little bit during this time if we are a little bit creative. Our regular listeners know that we celebrated the retirement of my mother last week, Elizabeth Hopp, out at the Bank of Santa Clarita, and through creativity, we were able to get about 100 of her friends together for a champagne toast to toast her as she finished up a 50-year career, and it was really nice to be able to do that while maintaining our social distance, doing it through video conference. So absolutely, stay creative and continue to follow those guidelines, and we'll continue to hear more good news from our mayor in the future, I'm sure. Mr. Mayor, it's always wonderful to speak with you. I can't thank you enough for your time. We'll be looking forward to connecting with you again next Tuesday, and until then, please be well, and thank you for your leadership and service. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thanks for everything you guys do to keep the people informed. Of
course. We've got a couple of things that we need to take care of, but stick around. Coming up, I've got an invitation and some important resources for you that I think will really help us as we work through things and you continue to work with your kids at home. For more information on how COVID-19 is affecting our valley, go to hometownstation.com and click on the red banner. There you'll find tips on the economy, health updates, special business hours, and much, much more. That's hometownstation.com. You're listening to SCVi Charter School's Eye on the Valley Homeschooling Answers. I'm Matt Watson on your hometown station, KHTS.
Hi, I'm Pastor Rusty with a minute of encouragement. Are you going stir crazy with family right now? Maybe the people you love the most are actually driving you crazy. Well, if you find yourself in that situation, can I give you a few things that might encourage you, might actually help you? 1, sit down the night before and plan out the next day. What are we all hoping to achieve tomorrow, and how could we do that together? 2, plan some time for alone time. Go to 4 corners of the house and find times to be by yourself to just recalibrate your thinking. And 3, when it comes to arguments that might happen, instead of seeking correction and making sure everybody does things the way that you want them to, take a moment to seek connection. Help me understand why you feel this way. We'll get through this the way we get through everything, together.
If you would like prayer, text the word prayer to 661-270-7788.
The best live theater can be found right here in the Santa Clarita Valley. The Canyon Theater Guild has been entertaining audiences for decades with top quality musicals and plays. Located on Main Street in Old Town Newhall, CTG also offers workshops for the young actor in your family. For more information, call the box office at 799-2702 or go online to canyontheater.org.
During this unprecedented time, Dunkin' has continually focused on the health and safety of their employees and, of course, you, the customer. Dunkin's committed to being there for you, serving in the safest way possible, following all national, state, and local guidelines. Here in Santa Clarita, Dunkin' has implemented carry-out and drive-through services, in addition to curbside pickup. The Dunkin' in Canyon Country is open from 5 a.m. until 7 p.m., serving guests with carry-out and drive-through services. The Dunkin' on Bouquet Canyon near Lowe's is open from 5 a.m. until 7 p.m. with carryout and curbside pickup. Download the Dunkin' app to pay, order, and accumulate points. Dunkin' is now also available through Grubhub for home and office delivery.
There's a very good reason Embrace Your Smile has been voted Santa Clarita's #1 orthodontist for 10 years in a row.
Honestly, it's our team.
Dr. Megan LeCornu.
I think for me, what makes it stand out is when I have patients that come up to me and say, we have never been in a doctor's office that feels like this. Our team is a family, and we really get along, and we are really passionate about what we do, helping our patients get the smiles they want and deserve.
Dr. Megan LeCornu of Embrace Your Smile Orthodontics.
Embrace your smile.
EmbraceYourSmile.com.
Congratulations to Dave Reeves and his team at Reeves Complete Auto Center. They just celebrated their 11th year of serving the Santa Clarita Valley.
Thank you so much for choosing Reeves Complete Auto Center. I know you have plenty of choices for your car repair needs, so we appreciate you picking Reeves.
Tune-ups, brakes, transmissions, 30, 60, and 90,000 mile services, and much more. Find out about their special lifetime oil change program. Reeves Complete Auto Center on Ruther in Canyon Country. Find them online at reevesservice.com.
Please remember to support the Boys and Girls Clubs of Santa Clarita and the SCV Rotary Club.
And now, a cooking tip from Keith Mowry from Bob's Country Meats. Ribs were made for the barbecue, but here's a great cooking tip.
The best way I like to cook the ribs is in the oven, cover them about an hour, 350, then put them on the barbecue for about 15 to 20 minutes, turn them a few times just to get them nice and brown.
Ribs, chicken, tri-tip, pork chops, turkey, steaks, even exotic game like buffalo and ostrich. For the tastiest ribs in town, visit Bob's Country Meats on Soledad in Canyon Country.
Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
We salute our veterans who sacrificed for our freedom.
Santa Clarita veteran Bill Reynolds.
Each week, we share an inspirational story of a local veteran on our Hometown Heroes page at hometownstation.com. Thanks to our good friends at Eternal Valley.
I'm Richard Nunnally, General Manager of Eternal Valley Memorial Park and Mortuary. We believe taking care of each other is what community is all about. We're proud to bring you the stories of our hometown heroes.
Eternal Valley, life well celebrated.
Your hometown station, KHTS.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM on your radio, and we're also here on Facebook Live. So if you're bumping around the house or just enjoying your morning coffee right now, why don't you log on to Facebook and search KHTS Radio, and we are here. This is Matt Watson, and you're listening to Eye on the Valley Homeschooling Answers. As I mentioned before the break, we've got a few invitations for you that I think will really help you out as you look forward to working with your kids at home. So let me ask you, it is spring break at most of our area schools. So are you taking the week off from the academics and looking to get back toward it next week, or are you going to continue to work with your kids this week? Entirely up to you. That's a family decision. But as I mentioned, we've got a couple of exciting things happening for you. First of all, this Thursday, April 9th, from 1 to 2 p.m., we've got a free live webinar series that's designed for teachers, families, and students in our community. It is the iLEAD Maker Team presenting Distant Learning Next Steps. So I want to take a second to explain that a little bit. We've got our curriculum instruction and assessment team, a group of 6 experts that I work with that develop and curate curriculum and resources, and we are constantly training and educating and updating our classroom facilitators, our teaching staff, and we do that in conjunction with all of our iLEAD schools here in iLEAD, California, and our Maker Learning Network. That is our network that helps provide support to all of our schools. And so together, iLEAD schools and that Maker Learning Network are providing a live free webinar series for teachers, families, and students. So you can go ahead and log on. The URL is a little bit cumbersome. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to post that on our Facebook feed just as soon as we go to our next commercial. We're going to go to news updates, and I'm going to post that URL on our Facebook feed. Make sure that you click on that and save it or bookmark it, and plan on joining us, will you? Again, that's this Thursday, April 9th from 1 to 2 p.m., just 1 hour, and you can click on and it'll help you successfully transition to virtual learning. I keep mentioning today that we're hitting our stride. So this is really going to help you take it to the next level as you learn why empathy is so important during this rapid change. So again, going to post that on our Facebook feed to help provide resources. I continue to talk about other resources and things like that our community is stepping up to help provide, and there are a few companies out there that are really stepping in and helping make this not just a time where our our schools and our kids and our families survive and get through this time, but to make sure that we're making the most of it. So a couple more resources that I want to provide for you. The company Dyson, the vacuum cleaner company, they have actually provided 44 different challenges. They're engineering challenges for kids during this time of lockdown. And so you can go to Dyson.com and search around and find that. Otherwise, I will post the full URL on our Facebook feed. And engineering challenges are tasks, challenges that they issue to our kids, and they provide a lot of guidance and support, but they allow our kids to get involved with what we call inquiry-based learning, and that's where the kids take that task and then they really build the learning on their own in a way that's fun, exciting, and authentic. And the folks at Dyson have really stepped it up, and it looks like they've pulled in their own education experts to help provide those engineering challenges for kids during this time of lockdown. It's very exciting. Also, the National Geographic Foundation. National Geographic has launched a homeschool hub for parents and teachers at Nat Geo at Home, which is, you can just look for Nat Geo at Home and find their resources there. They've got some terrific resources for you. Again, I will post that URL on our Facebook Live feed, along with the website that our organization, iLEAD Schools, is continuing to curate. We are adding resources every day at homeschoolinganswers.com. Again, you can go on and regardless of your children's age, you can click on the grade level that your kids happen to be in and find a tremendous amount of resources. You can also search by subject area. If you're looking for a little bit more science to add into your day, then you can click on that. There's also a tremendous amount of resources for parents as we're finding that we've got to kick our parenting skills into high gear as our kids are around a lot more often. So again, that's homeschoolinganswers.com, and as always, we're adding new things as different organizations and different people continue to add sources out there. We're curating them, sorting through them, so that you don't have to do all the legwork on that. We're doing it for you at homeschoolinganswers.com. During the break, Shane and I were talking about how everybody's had to adjust, and I know President Trump is working closely with the leaders of the commissioners of different sports, because sports is something that's really important to our society and helps us get back to that new normal. I got to tell you, I'm getting sick of watching games that I've already seen, like 1984 Boston Celtics and LA Lakers, and so anything we can do to get back to live sports would be exciting. Shane was telling me something really interesting about how baseball is considering coming back. Can you share that with our audience, Shane?
Yeah, absolutely. So I know not everybody is a sports fan, but as Matt said, sports kind of help take your mind off things. Regardless of whether you're a fan or not, it's nice to be able to put on the TV and have your mind whisked away to, I don't know, wherever you want it to be, but certainly not here right now. So MLB trying their best to get a plan together. Now, I hate to burst the bubble of a lot of people who have their hopes up already, but a report just an hour ago from Yahoo Sports, who originally reported the new MLB plan, is saying that MLB has issued official statements dimming the hopes for a quick return. So it was more on the speculative side than it was on the factual side. Nonetheless, some of those interesting details to get the season back on track was that the MLB would use an electronic strike zone to allow the umpires to maintain their 6-foot social distance. Kind of one of the changes that has been pushed on for a while, the electronic strike zone could be implemented. No mound visits whatsoever from anybody. So no catcher-pitcher mound visits, no pitching coaches coming out, absolutely nothing.
So if your pitcher's in trouble, he's on his own.
Yeah. Better hope he doesn't get in any trouble. And then there's also going to be 7-inning double headers in order to sort of recoup some of the lost time for the games. I don't know if they would go back for a full 162 games, but nonetheless, they would still try to fit in just 7-inning double headers, 2 games in one day. And also the players would be regularly using the on-field microphones. So not sure if anybody tuned into spring training baseball, but it was still a cool experience to have the players on the field wear a microphone during their the game and during the broadcast. So just a lot of fun ideas to try to get the sport moving a little bit and at least just back on track.
Everybody doing what they can to innovate, to update, and try to get things back to normal. So hopefully we can get things out there and get going again. So. Again, let's keep at it. Let's stay creative, and it looks like baseball's also looking to experiment about how things may shift and change moving forward in the future. Well, we do have to get caught up on national news stories and the latest updates right now, but I want you to stay tuned. Next hour, we'll be talking to Fred Arnold, our mortgage advisor, as well as Christina Debray. For more information on how COVID-19 is affecting our valley, go to hometownstation.com and click on the red banner. There you'll find tips on the economy, health updates, special business hours, and much, much more. You're listening to SCVi Charter School's Eye on the Valley Homeschooling Answers with your host, Matt Watson, on your hometown station, KHTS.
At Advanced Audiology, we know how important hearing is to you, your loved ones, your work success, your safety, and your ability to stay in the game. Most people won't admit hearing loss to themselves or others. We make it easy for you. Today's digital hearing aids come in a variety of styles, including invisible. All feature-rich, providing unparalleled hearing quality, wearing comfort, and automation that simplifies your life. Don't be fooled by our imitators. There's only one Advanced Audiology with the purple sign next to AAA on Valencia Boulevard.
Hi, this is Bob Schertz with the Way Out Recovery SCV, reminding you that during these unprecedented times, addiction and mental health do not take a break. If you or someone you love are struggling, please give us a call at 661-296-4444. We are open and here to help you during this time. Thanks.
Did you know you can attend College of the Canyons tuition free? Yeah. Canyons Promise provides incoming first-time college students the opportunity to attend College of the Canyons tuition-free for their first 2 years. And you don't even have to be a recent high school graduate to take advantage of the opportunity. Anyone who's a first-time college student and meets the Canyons Promise criteria can sign up. Visit canyons.edu/promise for full details and to get signed up before June 15th. canyons.edu/promise.
As the stay-at-home order continues through the month of April, Burger King is committed to following state and federal safety guidelines when it comes to serving you, the customer. Although in-restaurant dining has closed, pickup and delivery service continues. The current hours are 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. You can mobile order through the BK app for pickup, or you can use any of the delivery services like DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, and Postmates. Burger King on Lyons at the 5 Freeway, now with service at 2 drive-through windows.
This is your moment. Your perception has everything to do how this year is going to work. Many times your past experiences will dictate how you will fight your internal battles. It is not what others perceive about me, it's what I perceive about myself that matters. Remember, you will not be defeated by what others say about you. You will be defeated by what you say about you. This is the year of your remodeling, removing, and rebuilding your best self.
For more information regarding service times, visit iElevateChurch.com.
KHTS, AM 1220 and 98.1 FM Santa Clarita. It's 10 o'clock. Time for national news on KHTS.
Coronavirus update. More relief for small business and its workers could be in the works. More from correspondent Bob Costantini.
Should the United States be readying further relief of a couple $2 trillion in case the economy can't be running full steam midsummer? White House economic advisor Larry Kudlow isn't ready to pull that trigger, what with $4 trillion total in relief and stimulus already in the pipeline.
But this will help an awful lot of Americans to get through this period. And I keep saying 4 to 8 weeks. That may be more prayer, but that's just what we're hearing. And if that's the case, we can come out of this okay on the other side.
Coming weeks are likely to bring further internal White House debate about when America can get back into business versus concerns for new hotspot outbreaks later this year. Bob Costantini, Washington.
Treasury Secretary Mnuchin is advocating for at least $200 billion more from Congress to support the Small Business Coronavirus Relief Fund. I'm Mike Moss. New York reports its biggest one-day death total yet, 731. But Governor Andrew Cuomo thinks social distancing is having a positive impact.
We are changing the curve in that virus growth. You see that plateauing. That's because of what we are doing.
Surgeon General Jerome Adams says he now believes that the death toll in the U.S. from the virus will not be as bad as the White House feared only weeks ago.
That's absolutely my expectation, and I feel a lot more optimistic, again, because I'm seeing mitigation work.
The lockdown that served as a model for countries battling the coronavirus around the world is now set to end after 11 weeks. Chinese authorities are moving to allow residents of Wuhan to once again travel in and out of the sprawling city where the pandemic began. On Wall Street, Dow up more than 3%, 704 points. I'm Mike Moss.
At CDW, we get that you need a network that keeps your business moving forward.
Us for not. Backwards everything, do we?
Either way, CDW has experts who can design and implement a secure, innovative network built on Cisco DNA that learns and adapts to your needs to keep your business moving forward.
Idea good as that.
IT orchestration by CDW. It get who people. I mean, people who get it. Find out more at cdw.com/Cisco.
This is Joanne Jenkins, CEO of AARP. The coronavirus continues to affect us all, and we are here actively supporting you and your community. Every day, we're providing trusted information from top health experts, sharing tools to help protect families from fraud, and creating resources to support family caregivers everywhere. As always, you can count on AARP to advocate for you and your family. Join us and stay connected at aarp.org/coronavirus.
Thanks for listening to KHTS AM 1220, Canyon Country, California. K260CO 98.1 FM, Santa Clarita, California.
Hi, I'm Pastor Rusty from Real Life Church with a moment of encouragement. Can I take a moment and pray for all of our frontline healthcare workers? God, would you keep them safe and healthy? God, would you help them to be knowledgeable about the diagnoses and treatments of this disease? God, would you help them to stay clear-minded in the midst of surrounding panic? God, would you deliver them from anxiety for their own loved ones? God, would you give them compassion for every patient in their care? God, would you provide for them financially, especially if they fall ill and are unable to work? And God, would you help us in healthcare to exhibit extraordinary peace so that many would ask about the reason for our hope? God, would you help us to do good and to be good? We'll get through this the way we get through everything, together.
If you would like prayer, text the word prayer to 661-270-7788.
This is Bradley Gross from Santa Clarita Grocery. Santa Clarita Grocery serves fresh groceries to families, individuals, and those experiencing homelessness. At Santa Clarita Grocery, out of every dollar donated, a full 99 cents goes directly to the needs being addressed. As an all-volunteer-led organization, we operate on a 1% overhead, receiving no government funding for our operations in the community, resulting in us being one of the most efficient charities in the Santa Clarita Valley. If you're looking to support the good for our community, please consider partnering with us by donating to Santa Clarita Grocery. What is donated is specifically kept in the Santa Clarita Valley, helping over 3,000 families, including 5 other community charities. Please visit our website, santaclaritagrocery.org, or visit us on social media or call us at 425-7575. That's 425-7575.
Due to the worsening situation and the Safer at Home order for Los Angeles County, Men Cryotherapy has decided to close. All memberships have been frozen until they're cleared and feel it's safe for their staff and customers to return. They hope everyone stays healthy and safe through this ordeal. They look forward to mending and helping everyone get back on track with their health and wellness journeys. For more information, go to mendcryotherapy.com. As the stay-at-home order continues through the month of April, Burger King is committed to following state and federal safety guidelines when it comes to serving you, the customer. Although in-restaurant dining has closed, pickup and delivery service continues. The current hours are 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. You can mobile order through the BK app for pickup, or you can use any of the delivery services like DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, and Postmates. Burger King on Lyons at the 5 freeway, now with service at 2 drive-through windows.
Comfort Keepers provides your loved one with loving in-home care.
Miles McNamara, certified senior advisor and owner of Comfort Keepers in-home care.
Our caregivers can help you in your own home, enhancing independence, creating safety and comfort. Our Comfort Keepers provide companionship, meal preparation, medication reminders, assistance with personal care, and even transportation to doctor's appointments. If someone you love can use a helping hand at home, visit comfortkeepers.com.
Or call 287-4200.
City Councilman Bob Keller here. Keep it tuned to 98.1 FM and AM 1220 KHTS, hometownstation.com, for the latest information regarding COVID-19. KHTS will have both national and local news and information during this unprecedented time. For more, go to the KHTS website or the KHTS Facebook page. KHTS is also available online in the free app for iPhone and Android. Continue to social distance, only going out if it's absolutely necessary, and continue to check on friends and family. With your help, we will flatten the curve and come through this stronger than ever.
The following is sponsored programming and does not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of KHTS or its ownership.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 on the AM side. This is Matt Watson, your host. You're listening to Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. My next guest has been a pillar in our community for over 30 years. Fred Arnold is an industry leader and seasoned veteran in the areas of mortgage lending and public speaking. Fred began his career in 1991 after graduating from California State University, Northridge. Go Matadors! Fred is a mortgage professional with American Family Funding, and his business is 100% referral based, so take that. And he has helped his clients obtain over $1 billion in mortgage loans over the past 2 decades. His belief is that if you help enough people get what they want out of life, then you will always achieve your goals and dreams. Fred often speaks to business and consumer groups on the economy, the state of the housing market, and how to get the best investment when buying real estate. Fred has hosted a TV show, Out of the Rough, on SCVi TV, and as well as a radio show right here on KHTS called the SCVi Chamber Business Spotlight. Fred was recognized as one of the top 40 business people under 40 in Southern California by the San Fernando Business Journal. Fred has served on the OLPH School Board, the COC Foundation Board, Child and Family Foundation Board, and Santa Clarita Valley Coalition Board. He's also served as the chairman for the SCVi Chamber of Commerce, treasurer for the National Association of Mortgage Brokers, secretary for Matadors Community Credit Union, and was the president for the California Association of Mortgage Professionals. Fred is licensed by the California Department of Real Estate and the NMLS. He is also an Ironman, having completed the 70.3 World Championships in South Africa a little while back, and several other Ironman events, proving to his 4 children that he can still whoop their butts. Fred, welcome in.
Thank you. I like that last line.
You stay strong, and you're an inspiration.
You know, Matt, I always have this one line, and that was when I realized that my dad had all the right answers in life. My children realized I didn't have any. You know?
Yeah, there you go. So as long as you can run, swim, and bike faster than they can, you're in good shape.
Yeah.
Well, so first of all, Fred, with everything that's going on, you know, things are bouncing all over the place and almost day to day. And in all the chaos, how's the housing market doing? You know how important that is to so many of us here in Awesome Town?
Yeah. A couple things. Silver lining to housing is interest rates have dropped, which has helped affordability tremendously. Interest rates have dropped over the last 6 months, helping those that have been locked out of the home buying process afford a home now. The one thing that we found, though, is the market, from my seat as a mortgage professional, has softened a little bit. And the word softened is a lot of people are not, you know, there's no open houses.
Right.
And so a lot of people are on the sidelines waiting to buy a house. So if you're interested in buying a house right now, it couldn't be a better time in that you're not bidding against 7, 8 other buyers for that house.
Okay.
And so if you've been locked out of the process, your job is still strong, interest rates have dropped tremendously, and we'll talk about that in a minute. It's a very opportune time. I have a client right now that's buying in, he's keeping his house here, just in case it doesn't work out, but he's buying by the beach. He got outbid and outbid and outbid and outbid until finally the market slowed down because of the virus. He jumped in to close an escrow today and didn't have that opportunity that he had before. And so his wife are going to do a post high school kids move, empty nesters, and that opportunity's there. And we're seeing that time and time again with young people also. They were locked out of the buying process because of interest rates and affordability and just getting outbid.
Yeah. So with those shifts, people are assuming you're in the position where things are still stable. This may be the perfect opportunity to take advantage of. You mentioned interest rates. I noticed things had been on a steady decline, like you said, even before this current crisis, and they continue to drop. But I noticed in recent days things have jumped up recently. Why is that? Do you know?
Yeah, interesting concept. The federal government comes in a couple weeks ago and drops interest rates to 0. So everybody figured our interest rates would be 0. Well, they were trending down, which was fantastic. The economy was actually slowing at the beginning of the year, Matt, which has caused interest rates to kind of drop a little bit. But all of a sudden, we got these calls from clients saying we must have 0% interest rates. Well, the government was brilliant in one thing, and they lowered interest rates to 0% to provide liquidity to the markets. You know how you had to run on toilet paper, you had a run at the supermarket. Yeah. They were worried that a lot of consumers would go in and withdraw $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000 in cash all at one time, and the banks wouldn't have liquidity. So they dropped the federal funds rate, which is the rate in which the Federal Reserve lends to the different banks, to 0. So now we didn't have to worry about the run on banks. But that didn't cause rates to drop. The drop was happening because of the slowing in the economy. And then the prediction, if you will, Matt, of the economy coming to a halt caused interest rates to continue to decline until they were almost at their all-time lows. They were very, very lows, 3% with an APR, maybe a 3.19 or so. They were very good for a typical 30-year fix. Mm-hmm. And so everybody was jumping on it. Then all of a sudden, Matt, interest rates skyrocketed. They went up tremendously. And everybody's looking like, why? Well, the first reason why, Matt, is capacity. There's $11 trillion in mortgages in our country. $11 trillion. Okay. And our industry can process about $3 trillion. Well, when $2 trillion of people try to refinance in 2 months, it clogs up the system. Okay. So the only thing the lenders can naturally do is raise interest rates because they couldn't handle the capacity. Secondly, rates were dropping so fast. When rates drop quickly, banks lose money on interest rates lock-ins. Like you want to lock in, let's say 3.5, rate drops to 3.25. Now you want 3.25. Well, banks lose money when you back out, and now you get the lower rate. And so that was costing them a lot of money. But the one thing that also caused it was when the elected officials came out and said, skip your mortgage payment for 12 months. Don't worry about it. All of a sudden, the value of the mortgage wasn't there anymore. Like, what's the value of a mortgage if all of a sudden Congress can say, yeah, you don't need to make your payment? Because they never said anything in the $2 trillion act to help that happen, because the lender still has to make the payment to the investor, even though they're not collecting a payment to you. So what was the value of the mortgage? So all of a sudden, we saw interest rates spike and go up tremendously. We're starting to see them come back down, though, and I think the Federal Reserve is working that out on how to bridge the gap of that money where your consumer's not making a payment for 3 or 6 or 12 months or however long the forbearance is, and so that's going to come together. So we're seeing interest rates come back down, and I think there's a long-term, very positive prospect on them continuing to drop.
Okay, fantastic. So kind of taking the edge off of that recent spike. So you touched on it a little bit. Can you tell us a little bit more about the CARES Act? What is that, and how does that affect homeowners or maybe people that own property for small businesses, things like that?
Yeah, let's talk. It's mostly for single-family mortgage loans, okay? And it's those that were purchased by Fannie, Freddie, and Ginnie. I know that's a technical. Call your lender, and they'll definitely be able to explain all this to you. But in a nutshell, it allows you, Matt, if you're having a hard time, you've lost your job or your income's dropped, it allows you to get a forbearance on your mortgage. What a forbearance is I can't afford all of it now. Can I pay it later? In other words, can I miss 6 months of payments and add it to the end of my loan? Can I miss 6 months of payments and maybe catch up slowly after I get my job back? And that's what a forbearance is. And so the CARES Act mortgage forbearance relief breakdown, here's how it works specifically. One, it ensures the payment relief by providing forbearance, missing your payment for 12 months. Now, that payment still has to be made, but that's structured between you and the lender. It waives all the assessment fees or late fees. Okay. So all those late fees are waived at this time. And it halts any foreclosure or eviction of borrowers right now on loans owned as of right now until May 17th. Suspends the reporting to credit bureaus of past due payments, which is good because if they agree to postpone it, please don't report me as being bad, because what if you want to refinance in 6 months when you get your job back and you start making your payments?
Sure.
So we wanted to make sure we didn't cause, the industry didn't cause late payments on your credit where you could still get credit when you get your job back. And the property is available regardless of whether the property is an investment property, a second home, or you live in it. They're also offering some modifications of the loans on the forbearance, maybe adjusting the payments so that you can afford the payment when you go back to work. So basically the industry is trying to work around you missing a couple payments if you need to. The biggest challenge we're running into is Congress didn't come up with any guidance on what is struggling. As long as you apply, you get it. There's no means test right now. I mean, if one spouse loses their job, but it can still be affordable, is that allowed for forbearance? Bottom line is, make your payment if you can, because there's going to be an opportunity when these rates drop to historical. If and when they drop to historical lows, you want to take advantage of it, and you don't want to have to worry about a forbearance in case you're still in one and the lenders don't allow that to refinance.
Okay, so that would be kind of completely in their hands. If I'm in month 3 of a forbearance, essentially I'm not making my payments and pushing those payments to the end of my loan. That could affect my ability to refinance if I want to do that while this crisis is still going on.
That's correct, because the new lender is going to go, well, wait a second, why do we want to do a loan for somebody that's not making the payment right now?
Sure.
So I think you got to be careful. If you need it, use it, okay? Because we don't need people to lose their home. We don't want people to lose their home at all. It's not good for them. It's not good for their family. It's not good for society. It's not good for the community.
Right.
Bottom line is, if you need it, use it. If you don't, continue to make a payment. If you could hold out for a couple months, wait, because once interest rates drop, there's a possibility you can refinance if you can afford it and you're still working at a reduced salary at a lower payment, which makes it even more affordable.
Yeah.
So use it discretionarily. If you just apply because you figure something for free, it's not free. You got to pay the money eventually.
Sure.
And so use it to the best of your family's financial goals long term.
Okay, so if I'm thinking, hey, great, we can go a couple of months and not have to pay the mortgage, we'll just throw those payments on at the end of that 30-year loan, and maybe we'll make a couple of needed purchases or get ahead on college tuition or something like that. That could come back around to kind of bite you in the rear end, couldn't it?
It only could, because how are you going to refinance if we hit historical lows? Let's say we do hit them in the next 3-4 months. Nobody's going to want to do your loan if you're in forbearance. And because they'll figure if you can't pay them, how are they going to pay us at a reduced payment? But I'll tell you what, right now is going to be a really good option. Between now and 6 months from now, a very good opportunity to restructure your finances, because there's been more equity created over the last couple years since the crash of 2008 than ever before. And so Americans have a lot of equity, and they can use it for a lot of good for their financial health and wealth, if you will.
So again, these safety nets are there for those that need it, folks that have found their businesses have had to close down, or maybe they've been furloughed, they've been laid off. Those safety nets are there. But if you can continue to afford to pay things, even if it is you've got to tighten your belt, stay on top of it, because you can take advantage of some of these dips in interest rates and things like that. Now, you mentioned 6 months out. Fred, I know that you probably don't have a crystal ball in your office or anything like that, but if I pressed you to predict kind of beyond that 6 month, maybe into the 12, 18-month period, what do you foresee happening in the market and with interest rates? Can you kind of predict that far ahead?
Well, you know, I can get a gauge and a feel. Basically, I think the economy's slowing, as everybody knows. I mean, with industry shut down, a lot of industry shut down, we're going to run into a recession, a deep recession. It could be quick. We could go into it and come right out. But with that becomes usually lower interest rates, a slower market. The federal government has committed to buy mortgage-backed security, treasuries, keeping interest rates low. We know that because they've already said it, and that's a way of quantitative easing. So we know that's going to happen. Prices are still affordable and low, except for what, underwear and toilet paper, right? I mean, everyone seems to have a lot on that. But other than that, prices are still pretty reasonable.
Sure.
Home values are going to drop, maybe just a little bit, making it a little bit affordable. So what we're going to see is whenever we see that combination, we see lower interest rates. And so this could be very well a small dip, maybe a shallower slowdown in our economy. Maybe we pick it back up at the beginning of 2021. I'm no economist, but from my feel of things and seeing people not going to work, we're going to have a slowdown. And seeing the government continue to pump money into mortgage-backed security and treasuries, we're going to see lower interest rates. And with lower interest rates, we're going to see an opportunity. I have a client right now, retired fire captain. We lowered his payment $350 a month, almost $400 a month. And it just came to him, and he's so blessed and happy that it happened. And we're seeing cases like that over and over. We're seeing a lot of cases. Matt, you might appreciate this with kids. College, boy, you know.
Yep. That one's
we're
looming
paying
heavy.
for a lot of college right now.
Yep.
Big student loans and credit card debt, and we're able to help a lot of families out to restructure and take the equity they have, contribute more to the 401k because they're freeing up cash on a monthly basis by paying off bills, and getting nice low interest rates. And so it's been a good opportunity for them to take advantage of that situation.
Well, that is good news. So lastly, Fred, you know that I stalk you on social media, and you're such an inspiring person. You've been putting out videos just about every day of lifting people up here in the community and providing tremendous inspiration. But that doesn't come from nowhere. You know, no one can dip into an empty vessel to draw water. Fred, where do you get your inspiration from? Who lifts you up? Where does that come from?
You know, on the business side, it has to come from my father. My father was just a hardworking. I sold paint and wallpaper in Northridge, California. The man was one of the hardest working men I've ever met. Very kind. I went to live with him when I was 15, 16 years old. And the kindness he showed to me when I was living with him, as far as making sure I was taken care of, and he took me to school every day. I lived quite far from where I went to school. That kindness, I got a lot from him. My mom, that fiery, she was always just, she made sure her kids were squared away. and I think that I learned a lot from that. But I learned something one time, and I'll share this with people. You can, everyone around you has great talents, great gifts, great, unique, loving traits. And you can choose to take anything you want from each one of them. My great friend Lloyd Schreeden, who passed away a couple years ago, was the funniest guy I've ever met, and I love his sense of humor. Lee Shulman, who passed away last year, World War II veteran and a community leader, was so kind. You can choose that. You don't have to choose the characteristics of people, obsessive compulsive. People with short temper. They're around us, right? They're people we know. But we can choose that. And I think somehow I try to find the goodness in everybody, and then I look at myself and say, how can I be better? And how can I be some of that goodness? If you really want to learn, go to someone's funeral and listen to what's said about them. And then ask yourself, how do I want to be known? And why not making those adjustments, small adjustments every day? Because, man, I got to catch myself every day. Every day I got to catch myself to be better because I make mistakes. And I get impatient. So I guess it's something that I learned from my parents, and I've chosen to live as a way of life.
You know, not everybody does that, but such wise and inspiring words constantly seeking to make yourself better. We do appreciate that, Fred. Before you go, if there are people out there listening and thinking that maybe now is the time they want to make some sort of move in their mortgage, is there somewhere where they can get a hold of you? Are you available anywhere?
Yeah, that'd be great. We're every day in our locked offices, AFFloans.com, American Family Funding, AFFloans.com. We got great mortgage professionals here. Fred at FredArnold.com, Fred at FredArnold.com, or 661-505-4300. And there's a lot of great mortgage professionals out there. Stay away from online. Go to someone in your community, in the Santa Clarita Valley community or the surrounding community that you know that's been referred to you so that you can get sound advice on your family's financial future. And Matt, thank you so much, and congratulations to your mama, Elizabeth Hopp, on her retirement.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I appreciate you being part of that. We want to thank you so much for your time, and keep doing what you're doing, Fred. We've got to get to some commercials, but I want my listeners to stick around. When we come back, we'll be developing our next essential habit number 5 from Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, I promise. And later, we'll be checking back in with Christina Debray, licensed marriage and family therapist. You're listening to SCVi Charter Schools Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. I'm Matt Watson on your hometown station, KHTS.
This Saturday at 8 p.m., join us as we pray for our Valley and first responders. KHTS has teamed up with a number of local churches who'll be offering a half hour of music and prayer. Brought to you by our friends at Burger King, Total Financial Solutions, and American Family Funding. We invite you to sit in your cars, 8 p.m. this Saturday. Tune in to 98.1 FM, AM 1220, or download our free KHTS radio app. Or log on to hometownstation.com and click the Listen Live button.
The best live theater can be found right here in the Santa Clarita Valley. The Canyon Theater Guild has been entertaining audiences for decades with top quality musicals and plays. Located on Main Street in Old Town Newhall, CTG also offers workshops for the young actor in your family. For more information, call the box office at 799-2702 or go online to canyontheater.org.
You see so much when you look at your child. A creative spirit that surprises you every day. Curiosity that develops into exploring unique passions. A little leader growing every day to discover who they are, what they love, and how they can make their mark on the world. At SCVi, we see those same amazing things. Our tuition-free K-12 charter school gives your child boundless opportunities to think critically and imagine freely with a customized learning program built around each individual student. As iLEAD's founding school, SCVi combines an immersive approach to traditional subject learning with extracurricular activities including STEAM, robotics, theater, music, and sports. SCVi has the only international baccalaureate program in Santa Clarita, with a 10-year proven track record of graduates excelling at top universities. And we're in your backyard, just off the 5 freeway in West Santa Clarita Valley in Castaic. For enrollment information or to learn more about our program, including homeschool options, visit iLEADSantaClarita.org. iLEAD Schools, free to think, inspired to lead.
Today for lunch, why not try The Sandwich Shop, located on Avenue Stamford, right off Rye Canyon. The Sandwich Shop offers dozens of hot or cold, affordable, premium deli sandwiches. Gourmet soups and salads are also available. Regulars indulge in the cheesy focaccia rolls, which is a customer favorite. Then top it off with owner Charlie Chung's chunky chocolate chip cookies. Breakfast and catering is also available. The Sandwich Shop, since 1983, located on Avenue Stamford, right off Rye Canyon. ValenciaSandwichShop.com to place your order.
Your hometown station.
KHTS is the only station I listen to.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 on the AM side. This is Matt Watson, your host. You're listening to Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. We were also here available for you on Facebook Live if you'd like to join us and watch the video. Shane and I are here in studio, although he's off camera. We've posted some of those links. There he is. We posted some of those links that we talked about a couple segments ago about some of those resources for you. You can get your kids highly engaged, doing some exciting and cool things. We've got that webinar coming up on Thursday from 1 to 2 p.m. provided by iLEAD Schools and the Maker Learning Network. We also put up those resources from National Geographic as well as from the Dyson company that's provided some design challenges, some engineering challenges for your kids. So throw those at them. It'll be a lot of fun. It'll be really challenging for them to attack these different challenges, and you know, kind of as an added benefit, they're going to learn some terrific things. Some deep science and engineering stuff, but then also they're going to learn habits like problem solving and how to attack the unknown. They'll be developing their own learning. Very, very important. And for more resources, I want you to go to homeschoolingAnswers.com. You'll find resources for any grade level, any subject area, and also parenting tips and ideas. There's also some fun guests that we have there, some princesses that'll read you a story, help you deal with your emotions, and so there's some great resources there on homeschoolingAnswers.com. Now, last week we began our study of Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. You know, this book was just transformational in business leadership and really self-leadership. It was published in 1989. Since then, it's been translated into 40 different languages and has sold over 30 million copies worldwide. What Stephen Covey did is he took an extended period of time and studied history's most successful people and then analyzed and identified the habits that they all had in common. And he found that there were 7 and now 8 things that they had in common. And so why would we not study those things if these are highly successful people across many different industries, across the generations? If we can identify these 7 to 8 habits that these highly effective people all have in common, why would we not want to take a deep dive on those? So that's what we're doing. We're studying these habits, and you can help develop them in yourself as well as in your children, so that they can be highly successful as well. So let's sum up briefly what we've discussed. Last week we took a look at habits 1 through 4. We talked about being proactive, planning your time, taking responsibility, and taking initiative. It's more than just breaking out your weekly planner every week at the beginning of the week. It's the idea that you are in charge of you. Don't be a victim. Don't make excuses. Take control of the things that you can, and don't overstress about the things that you can't. We talked about habit number 2, begin with the end in mind. Figure out what you want out of the week, out of the month, the year, this life, and then set the goals and envision what success in those areas looks like, and chart a path. Plan the steps from where you currently are to where that vision leads you. Habit number 3, we talked about putting first things first, prioritizing your tasks. We teach our kids to work first, then play, although play is very important, and we want to set aside time for that. We looked at, and I want you to Google it, the Eisenhower matrix of importance versus urgency to help you live in quadrant 2. You want to be working on the things that are highly important but not yet urgent. So you want to stay there, get into quadrant number 1 if you have to when things are a little bit more pressing, but stay out of quadrant 3 and 4, especially quadrant 4. Again, Google Eisenhower's matrix of importance versus urgency. The last habit we talked about was thinking win-win. And remember, this isn't just compromise where each side wins a little, loses a little. It's not win a little, lose a little. It is thinking win-win. This is being creative and developing a thought process of working to find solutions that benefit both sides of the situation. And today we look at habit number 5. This one can be a little bit more difficult for some of us than others. It depends on where you're at. Some of us are naturally good at this, and some of us have to really work at it, like myself. Habit number 5 is seek first to understand, then to be understood. Are you like me? I'm the kind of guy that likes to get his point across. I like to say what I have to say. I think that's why they allow me to be on the radio. I tend to talk a lot, but the problem with that is I'm not necessarily listening to engage the person that I'm interacting with, and I've got to work on that. You know, when someone presents us with a problem, we can tend to, and this is a little bit more common in men than women, I think, but both genders, we can often jump right in to offer a solution. And that's a mistake. We should first take time to really listen to the other person and not just to make recommendations. You know, highly successful people use empathetic listening. Remember, you're not just listening to know what's going on and respond. You're listening to genuinely understand not just the facts, but how that person's feeling, where they're coming from, which compels them to reciprocate, right? They reciprocate the listening and take an open mind to be influenced by you. So it's not only a benefit for the person that's talking to you, but it also benefits you because you develop that strong personal connection with the person that you're interacting with. This creates an atmosphere of caring and positive problem solving. Habit 5 is greatly embraced by the Greek philosophy, represented by 3 words. First, ethos, your personal credibility. It's the trust that you inspire, your emotional bank account, if you will, when people feel that you're connecting with them, you're truly empathizing, you're sewing into who they are. Then just like, you know, we just spoke with Fred Arnold about the economy. Just like your bank account, you can't make withdrawals until you've made deposits. Well, that ethos is you depositing into other people, letting them know that you care by truly empathetically listening to who they are and what they're discussing. Okay, that second Greek word pathos is that empathetic side. It is that alignment with the emotional trust of another person's communication. You know, empathetic learning is reflecting on what a person feels and says in your own words. Okay, so a trick that I try to use is rephrasing. So when someone's been speaking for a decent amount of time and they share what they're going through or what they're feeling, I oftentimes like to rephrase and say, so I'm hearing you say that you're feeling this way, or even something simple as, gosh, I can only imagine how difficult that must be for what you're going through right now. I mean, not only are we dealing with this recent pandemic, but also in your personal life, you're dealing with X, Y, and Z, and that must be really difficult for you. You know, that develops that strong connection with them. It's not just listening to advise. And again, that's something that I get stuck in a lot when people share a problem or an issue that they have. My brain naturally jumps to solution thinking, which can be helpful, but it's not always what we want to lead with. We want to lead with that connection and the fact that we let them know that we truly understand where they're coming from. We don't want to immediately jump to the advise, counsel, reply, refute, solve, fix, change, judge, or disagree or anything like that. All right. That third component is the logos, the logic, the reasoning part of the presentation. The order is important. Remember, we don't want to jump to the logic. We want to start with ethos, then pathos, then logos, right? Your character and your relationships, and then the logic of your presentation. Most of us listen oftentimes with the intent to reply, and that is important. But if you're in the moment, the reply is going to come. It comes from your heart. It comes from your experience. It comes from your mind. Don't worry, you're not going to forget what you were going to say. Listen intently to truly understand, not just understand the facts. Again, understand the feelings involved. Understand the background. Make connections with other things that you've heard from this person. Things that we can do when we're teaching our kids habit number 5 is we can remind them that it's better to listen first and talk second. You know, people that negotiate, people in sales will often tell you that this is also true and beneficial, that it's better to listen first and talk second. I heard somebody mention in the area of negotiations that he who talks first typically loses. So listen first, even for those strategic purposes. But remember, lead with that empathy. Make sure that you make those strong connections. That second thing that we can teach our kids was my dad's favorite mantra, and I know why he used to say it to me all the time. And again, I still struggle with it. He used to tell me, Matthew, you've got 2 ears and 1 mouth. You should be listening twice as much as you're talking. Still a tough one, something I still struggle with. But yeah, let's make sure that we're engaging with listening. The most important part of communication is listening, truly understanding. Oftentimes I'll answer a question that nobody asked, and it's because I wasn't being that active listener. And that leads me to the third point that we can teach our kids. Be a good listener. Look at the speaker, connect with them visually, connect with them emotionally, and be confident. Confidence is that area that allows you to then, when it is time to speak, truly communicate what you've got. Okay? Don't be a nervous communicator. Be confident and know that your experience and your personality, your characteristics are unique, and there's a reason that this person has come to you to talk. Okay? So again, let's teach our kids to that it's better to listen first and talk second, that they have 2 ears and 1 mouth, meaning we should be listening twice as much as we talk, and be a good listener. Look at the speaker, connect with them, and be confident. Okay? We do need to take our last commercial break for the day. Please stay tuned. When we come back, we've got Christina Debray, our show's official licensed marriage and family therapist. She'll be joining us next. For more information on how COVID-19 is affecting our valley, go to hometownstation.com and click on the red banner. There you'll find tips on the economy, health updates, special business hours, and much, much more. You're listening to SCVi Charter School's Eye in the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. I'm Matt Watson on your hometown station, KHTS.
Hi, this is Pastor Rusty from Real Life Church with a minute of encouragement. Remember that game we used to play on the playground where we'd hit the ball around the pole? We called it tetherball. Everything worked great until somebody hit the ball so hard it just unhinged from the rope. Doesn't it feel like our culture and even our world is in that right now? With coronavirus making us wonder about our economy, our work, even our personal freedom, it just feels like we have nothing to put our faith in anymore. That's why I love the words of Jesus, who says, "Whoever puts their trust in me is like a man who builds his house on the rock. When the storms come, the winds will not destroy him." Friends, if you're wondering right now how we're going to do this, we're going to do this the way that we do anything, and that is we're going to get through this together. Put your hope in the rock.
If you would like prayer, text the word prayer to 661-270-7788.
Your building sign is essential to getting customers to your location. Feathers can help you get your business noticed. Feathers, now in a new, larger space with plenty of parking. They walk you through each phase of your project with special attention to detail and quality. Feathers will provide you with a sign that you can be proud of. Your sign will draw customers in instead of having them drive by. Visit Feathers online at feathersigns.com or go to Feathers' brand new, bigger location at 26017 Huntington Drive off Rye Canyon or call 298-9442.
We all know sometimes people lose their way. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, the Way Out Recovery SCVi may have the answers you've been waiting for. The Way Out is the premier intensive outpatient treatment center serving Santa Clarita. Asking for help is the first step. Call The Way Out today, 661-296-4444. That's 296-4444 for a private free assessment. The Way Out is an accredited, affordable outpatient program that accepts most insurance. Call us at 661-296-4444 or check us out online at thewayoutrrecoveryscv.com. Quit battling with yourself. Ask The Way Out for help today.
As the stay-at-home order continues through the month of April, Burger King is committed to following state and federal safety guidelines when it comes to serving you, the customer. Although in-restaurant dining has closed, pickup and delivery service continues. The current hours are 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. You can mobile order through the BK app for pickup, or you can use any of the delivery services like DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, and Postmates. Burger King on Lyons at the 5 Freeway, now with service at 2 drive-through windows.
Your hometown station, KHTS.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 on the AM side. This is Matt Watson, and you're listening to Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. You know, I got a couple of texts during that last break of people assuring me that they are listening intently to the show, and gosh, that really made me feel good and helped me connect with them. So make sure that we are continually listening to understand, right? We're listening to understand, and then after that, we're working to be understood. That is Habit 5 from Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Thank you for that reassurance. We are now joined by Christina Debray, a licensed marriage and family therapist with a remarkable story of resilience and determination in her own life. She's a graduate of Cal State Northridge and Pepperdine University who practices right here in Valencia. She's got a pretty amazing practice as she's done tremendous research and study on her own. She's studied in the areas that include trauma, phobias, performance enhancement, attachment disorder, suicide prevention, grief, and child and adolescent intervention. And I know a lot of my listeners are thinking, well, Matt, none of those things really hit me, and I'm glad for that. But especially during this time, and even when we're not going through a time of crisis, we all need that connection and someone to help us process the different things that go on in regular life, and how much more now than ever before. And so we talked last week with Christina about demystifying mental health care. Remember, you don't just go to the doctor when you've got a broken leg or you've got or you're sick, right? You go for your wellness checkups. You get your annual physical. We should also be doing the same thing with our mental health care. We should be seeing mental health care professionals on a regular basis, making sure that things are going well and we are continuing to be our best. Fred Arnold spoke just a couple breaks ago about making sure that every day we're stepping it up and bringing our best me, our best us to the table, and so our mental health care professionals can help us walk through that. And so it's very, very important. Christina's got more than 18 years of speaking experience. She works with medical professionals, patients, schools, parents, and business professionals. Christina, good morning. Welcome in.
Good morning.
It's good to have you back. Thank you so much. We've been talking a lot about the importance of mental health care over the last few weeks, and we truly should hold mental and physical health care on the same level. You know, I mentioned a couple days ago there was a gentleman that I saw speak. It was very powerful. He talked about when he moved into a new community that people were coming over, and, you know, they've got casseroles and things like that to welcome him into town, and they were saying, oh, I noticed you've got kids. I've got the best pediatrician, and you may want to check this guy out. And you know, I have an amazing doctor or orthodontist that you may want to look into. Here's his number or his business card. He said, but you know what? Nobody came over and said, man, I've got the best therapist. You need to call this guy or you really need to see her. And he said he looks forward to the time when you know, a pediatrician, a dentist, and a therapist would be mentioned in that same breath as we continue to break down this stigma that only certain people need mental health care. It's so important. And you know, we talk during this difficult time that not everyone has access to quality physical health care, but even fewer people have access to quality mental health care. So there's people that have access to it and maybe are taking advantage of that access. Maybe they're not. And then other folks who are on the other end of the spectrum and don't necessarily have access through their health care coverage. So, Christina, what recommendations do you have for folks regardless of where they fall on the spectrum?
So, first I want to talk about the individuals who don't have any options. So maybe these are people with no insurance who are not able to pursue low-cost or no-cost alternatives. And maybe you just are so high risk you can't leave the house to, you know, go outside and go for a walk when, you know, that's recommended. So one of the things that you can pursue is following a mental health professional on social media, watching videos on YouTube, listening to experts on radio or TV. You can try reading self-help books. And there might be virtual support groups available online. I've seen many of them available, and they're for free. You can check out podcasts and videos, visit websites for your particular concern. If you are someone that goes to church, you can talk to your congregation and see if they have any resources. And I know right now a lot of congregations are providing resources online. So then for the people that have some insurance, but maybe it's not the best insurance, it's limited. So maybe you have Kaiser, maybe you have an HMO plan. So that's when you can look at, calling your insurance and seeing who's in network. A lot of insurance companies are offering telehealth options right now that they are paying for. Now, this is very new because of the whole COVID situation, but they are making sure that we can still have access to mental health care. A lot of the training clinics offer free services, and that can be done virtually as well. And many therapists offer reduced fee services. Right now, I, for example, am offering reduced fee services for all clients during this COVID crisis. You can consult with a tax professional to determine if you're able to deduct your mental health expenses.
Oh, interesting.
You can find a therapist in training under supervision, and a lot of times they offer fees that might be half the rate of normal. So then I want to talk about people who have the PPO insurance, who maybe don't have the cash to just totally pay out of pocket, but they are able to have some wiggle room. So in terms of determining if your insurance offers out-of-network benefits, some insurance companies do offer out-of-network behavioral health coverage, so it's important to call your insurance and see if this is something that's offered. So what happens in this scenario is that the client would pay upfront for sessions, and then a super bill, which is a document for industry-specific coding, is given to you afterwards, and that's submitted to insurance. So if, in fact, you do have benefits, they will likely cover a portion of that cost, somewhere between 30% to 100% based on what they cover after you reach your deductible. So even though this costs you up front and your diagnosis will be recorded, it gives you the freedom to choose a mental health professional that's not in network with your insurance. Also, some therapists are able to negotiate what's called single case agreements. So, for example, I'm a specialty therapist. I specialize in a type of therapy called EMDR, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. And so oftentimes there aren't therapists in network with people's insurance that offer the specialty service that I offer. So occasionally when I have clients call, I will be able to accommodate what's called a single case agreement, where I will temporarily contract with their insurance company for a certain number of sessions in order to be able to provide that service.
Okay, so I'm kind of taking notes as you're talking here. So kind of going up the ladder of according to ability and need, of course. So you mentioned that that we can follow folks, follow therapists and mental health care professionals on social media, subscribe to YouTube channels, look at folks' websites or podcasts, or even, and great advice, work with spiritual advisors if you follow the advice of a church or synagogue. And then the next step up is, a small investment in a self-help book, something that addresses the specific need that you have. Again, climbing up that ladder. If you've got your HMO, you can reach out to an in-network care provider, or get telehelp during this time. I know my son is actually really enjoying the work that he does with his therapist on a telehelp. There's an app that they use, and they're still able to talk every couple of weeks, and that's been extremely helpful during this time. stepping up that ladder again. If you need to reach out to a cash counselor, ask if they're able to offer discounts and say, I really need some help. I'm going through a lot of stuff, and the recent pandemic is exacerbating things, but can't necessarily afford to add this extra cost to my budget. Do you have any discounts that you can offer? Walking up that ladder, you've got out-of-network preferred therapists, somebody that you a specialist that you prefer going to, but is maybe out of your network. You may have to pay out of pocket, and hopefully your insurance will reimburse you for that. And then you said that last one was a single care agreement. If you've got a specialist, somebody that works in an area of particular need for you, you can see if they can make some sort of single case agreement with your healthcare provider. Is that correct?
Yes, and one more thing I wanted to add too is that during this time right now, and everyone's so destabilized and really just trying to get through the day, you don't have to make a commitment to what we would normally say is, the proper treatment plan. Maybe you say, hey, maybe I can afford one therapy session a month.
Okay.
Right? And that might just be enough to keep you grounded, give you hold the space for you and what you need to talk about. You essentially consult with an expert about how to handle a variety of things, whatever it is that you need help with.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we appreciate that. Anything else you want to share with our listeners before we go? I'm creating a lot of tips and creating a lot of resources for everyone, so you can follow me on social media. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and I'm going to be starting to put content on my YouTube channel. So for more information, go to www.christinadebray.com. And that spelling is Kristina, Christina, and then your last name, Debray, DEBREE.com. Well, that is all the time that we have for today. Christina, I want to thank you so much for joining us. I want to thank our other guests, Superintendent Jeff Pelzel from the Newhall School District, Mayor Cameron Smythe for checking in with us again this week, Mortgage Advisor Fred Arnold, and as always, our show's official licensed marriage and family therapist, Christina Debray. Thank you so much, Christina. And I want to thank you, our listeners. Please join us again tomorrow and every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. We've got Linda Christek, elementary education expert, Krista Warfield from the Child and Family Development Center to talk about domestic violence, and we will continue with our 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. You're listening to SCVi Charter Schools Eye on the Valley Homeschooling Answers. I'm Matt Watson, and this is your hometown station, KHTS. Stay home, everybody.